months, I thought I was freed. No more cramps slicing through my stomach. No more morning nausea that felt endless. When all of a sudden, one sunny morning, I rolled out of bed and froze. There she was, bright red, all over my white sheets. I thought she was missing for 3 months. It is about time that she returned. I should only be her host for 3 days, but those 3 days, they turned into 3 weeks, and 3 weeks turned into 30 days. 30 days of nonstop bleeding. I thought, well, she made a mistake this time. Let's hope she's more polite next month. But I kept on missing cycles. I kept on gaining weight and mustache hair. My mom and I knew that something was wrong. So we tried asking for help. When I first went to the doctor, I got told that I have a condition called PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, that I had an issue with insulin and androgens, but I would just have to be on 2 pills for the rest of my life and come back, well, to get pregnant at 30. Isn't that amazing to hear as a 13-year-old? That is just what you need to hear, right? I left that doctor's office more confused because the pen, it wrote a prescription faster than any explanation. I thought maybe I can turn to my friends for an explanation. Some of them saw me as lucky in missing my period, while others saw my pain as the punchline of a joke. Oh well, your body is just recouping all of the months that it skipped. You might be pregnant. Woo! But little did they know that on this same day, I was on the cold bathroom floor at 3 a.m., unable to move. Yes, you heard me. 3 in the morning, Googling symptoms, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Google didn't give me answers, so I tried listening to what people said about their bodies. Do I look fat? My body is only good enough depending on how much I eat for dinner. I also heard comments from classmates. Fat, pig, a man, all sorts of labels. But the more I heard these comments, the deeper of a battleground my body became. I started screaming at the mirror. My battleground magnified every flaw, or at least every apparent flaw. From the folds on my belly to the hairs on my upper lip, I found every reason to believe I was never good enough. So I tried doing what society preaches. I tried counting calories. I tried learning about the ideal waist size for my age. And I tried eating what a toddler would in a day. But the harder that I tried, the harder my body pushed back. The more hair left my scalp, the more acne broke out, and the period pattern, it repeated with no end in sight. But the more that I stood on this battleground, the more angered I felt, the more anger to uncover the truth about women's bodies and the healthcare system. What I learned is this issue, it is not today's issue, it is generational. For centuries, women's bodies have been seen as trends, changing every few years, from curvy bodies in the 50s to heroin chic in the 90s. While bodies were seen as trends, women's bodies were excluded from medicine. The standard in medicine was the male body, a body that operates on a 24-hour hormonal clock. But the female body, it operates on a monthly hormonal clock. Would you want to guess, when did women get consistently included in clinical trials? Just take a wild guess. The 1990s. That is barely 30 years ago. How could understanding even begin? All of a sudden, it started making sense. That first doctor I went to wanted the best for me, but the system, it just had a few gaps. After learning about this grueling reality, I gave myself two choices. I could stay in the void, just remain a statistic, or I could bend the light, fight for understanding, and make it my mission to get better. So I started looking for answers. The answers that nobody gave me. The ones hidden in medical databases, conversations with professionals, and discussions with teenagers in the same battle that I was once in. What I learned was there's a secret archive, an archive of pain that everyone tries to hide. Dozens of girls with irregular cycles, with weight gain that seems to come from nowhere, and with mustache hair that they get ridiculed on. Do you want to guess how many of these women are undiagnosed? 70%. You might think this condition seems pretty rare. I mean, it is so intense. But the WHO predicts that 10 to 13% of women are dealing with this condition worldwide. This gap was loud and eruptive. But when those girls, yes, those dozens of girls who felt silenced, who felt alone and isolated, when they started speaking up, when they started relying on each other, when they built a community, they built unraveled hormones. They found a safe space in a world filled with judgment. But that judgment, it often starts with ignorance. People simply not knowing enough. Because they don't see the end of the pad receipt. They don't see the doctor dismissals. And they don't see the metabolic war in someone's body. I was also judgmental of myself. But that was until I met the right doctor. A doctor who saw me as a person rather than a statistic, who saw me as a human rather than a future mother, who prioritized my health and walked with me through the journey. And all of a sudden, Red didn't feel like this overstaying guest anymore, because I started seeing community. I started seeing the mother who stood by me every 3 months as 3 tubes of blood left my body. I was gifted with friends that were my anchor and my light when the world felt heavy and uncontrollable. And finally, a doctor who understood my pain but helped me see a way out of it. Because Red was never the problem. Silence was. Silence that made us question our bodies. Silence that made us think we were alone when we never were. But that silence, it changes today, because you and I know that less people need to remain unheard. So we choose to speak up, even when it is uncomfortable. We choose to ask the right questions, even when there might not be clear answers. And we choose to listen to the stories we were never taught to hear.